Finally, a pro wrestling discussion show that's civil and constructive, introspective and informative. Mr. Clean and Springsteen, the Bald and the Beautiful, Final Bell Media and the Juice Box present Drew and Juice. Well, I was going to introduce the show, but you know what? Every one of mine have sucked, so Drew, the floor is yours.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Drew and Juice episode 3, not 4, which is Juice's favorite number. I'm Andrew Baydala. That's Juice Springsteen. At Juicy Steen, I am at Andrew Baydala. What a day, huh? Holy moly, huh?
Yeah,
I feel like I have 3 jobs at once, and, you know, like, it's nuts. It's nuts. So, what a day. We're not going to talk too much about what everyone wants to talk about, which is, you know, just utter garbage. Juice has the floor for that. I'm happy to be alive on this Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. It's a beautiful day. Juice, how the hell are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. First of all, great intro. You know, I could never do something like that. That's why it's Drew and Juice. You know, I'm the second bill, and you can have the floor for that. It's perfectly fine with me. But I'm the guy with the topics. You'll be the one kind of throwing it around as well. It is great to be alive. You know, I got some juice here with me. Got some Martinelli's apple juice here.
I got some coffee.
I mean, look, it's what, 8 o'clock your time?
Never too late for a good
I know.
cup of coffee.
Yeah, I'm assuming, you know, I'm drinking coffee way later. So it's fine. It is what it is. So, yeah, we probably won't discuss the chaos at large about today. However, I will ask about something kind of vaguely in that space, so it won't be anything too nuts here on Drew and Juice. We try to keep it professional, so you know, we got a plethora of topics here. When do you want to start? You want to just get going, and want me just kind of throw a dart at something and see where you want to go and see where the show goes?
Listen, double espresso in the morning, always. If you guys have a question, a comment, or a concern, make sure you throw it in here. No question is a bad one. We will answer them to the best of both of our abilities.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, Willie.
He is the
Billy
man.
Bob. Yeah, I appreciate that. Far from the man. I'm just trying to be a good man. That's all. That's all I can be. But and I'm not Sid. I'm not the man. Who's the man?
You the man.
Yeah, there you
You
go.
the man.
Sid was
Survivor
over like
Series
Rover
96.
in the garden when I was there for that Survivor Series 96 match. But I digress. Juice, the floor is yours.
All right, man. Coming off of, again, last week we kind of had the same type of thing. It was, wow, Dynamite was polarizing to some, you know. Dynamite this past week, I thought for probably 90% of it was damn good. I thought the opening was amazing. I thought the ending left a lot to be desired. And the middle had a lot of good stuff in it. So, Drew, I throw it to you. First of all, was the opening to Dynamite this past week the greatest it's ever been? And I don't mean hyperbole.
No, come on.
Okay.
It was good. Don't get me wrong. The show started off good. I liked Will and Ospreay. You know, I liked
Will and
I liked
Omega.
Will and Kenny. Yeah, I liked Will and Kenny. You know, I liked that Will, you know, was kind of pissed off at Kenny's initial response. I thought the response from Kenny was very well done. Whoever wrote it, very, very well done. Maybe Kenny, you know, was flying off the cuff. Maybe Will was flying off the cuff. I don't know. Thought it was very well done.
You like to be off the cuff, Drew. Who's to say they weren't, you know?
Yeah. And you want to know what? Like, for me, I thought, you know, to use the term, did they kind of nuke it? Yeah, where they was just like, they very much sped it up. It was like, okay, we're going to be friends now, but we don't like each other, but there's still a lot of time, so we'll have to wait and see. But I thought just the overall, like, getting to that match and the quick story to it was very well done. Very well done.
So why would you hesitate to say it was one of the greatest openings ever? Because some of the stuff that happened in it,
you know,
go ahead.
I hate that shit. I think it's so subjective. And I think, you know, if you liked it, you liked it. If you didn't, you didn't. If you didn't think it was the best, like you know, my wife's always like, is this the best Chinese food you've ever had? And I'm like, how could I say that? Because I haven't had all the Chinese food yet. What happens if one comes and tops this,
True, but that's also a defeatist way of like, you can't just put something over sometimes as the best, even if it's hyperbole. Like, it's not, just because I say
best
it
for
could have been
now.
one of the best. Yeah. Out of what we've seen, of course we haven't seen the future of AEW Dynamite openings. But
I don't know, man. I think the best opening ever to an AEW show, and I'm very biased with this because it was just like that moment, was Rampage Punk. Sorry.
True, but it's also not an episode of Dynamite. That was their main show. Rampage isn't even a show anymore, Drew.
Right.
So that's how important that moment was.
I'd have to think. Opening to a Dynamite that I thought
in the past, to be fair, they opened with matches. It's very rarely been these segments. Over the last couple of years, they've kind of done things like an opening segment and build things. Yeah. It devolved into a balcony dive, them cutting the promo on the truss. Like, that is interesting stuff. Use the best.
That was well done. Yeah. And I will say it's the most memorable of recent memory. Yeah, absolutely. I still want the Pointer Sisters.
Oh yeah. Well, the hate from that was so, I don't know. It was just so immediate that I feel like maybe he kind of was like, maybe I'll think about that and I'll do something else. But he should just stick to it, because I think the same thing happened with the Collision thing with the Saturday night, and he kind of rolled with that. He was like, I'm sticking to my guns. This is what we're doing. And then he used Guns N' Roses for promo packages. Like, if you're going to buy these songs and utilize them, spend the money, put them on TV.
I think Tony's making up for a lot of wrongs. That was ECW, where they just, stole the songs and
oh my God.
So I think Tony's probably trying to right some wrongs from ECW. So good for him with that. The Pointer Sisters were definitely not on ECW. But yeah, I mean, no. I would say it was the most memorable of recent memory. Yes, sure. I'll give you that. Yeah.
It's just, it started from a talking point to flying off balconies and moonsaults to set up a match for a show that we've been saying, can we have some promotion for this show? And now we got a little bit more.
Didn't Hangman and Omega, or Moxley and Omega, open a Winter is Coming Dynamite? I think that was one of the more memorable ones for me too.
You mean just like a match?
Yeah, I don't know. My memory with that type of stuff is bad. For me,
that's fair.
For me, I'm not Tony Khan. I'm not,
really.
I'm not Jew.
Breaking news.
I'm not Corey Saunders. I'm not Jew Springsteen. My memory for stuff is good, but it's not great. So I can't tell you everything that's happened.
I think it stuck so well because it wasn't a match. It was something that wasn't a norm thing. And they kind of just came out. They cut the promo. I kind of agree with you.
Set the tone. It was a great tone setter, man. And you need that. You need that tone. Hey, Tone, keep setting that tone, Tone. I have it out.
Oh man, dad joke from a dad doesn't get any better than that.
A dad of 3.
Yeah, not 4. So continuing on with Dynamite. Again, polarizing or not, Private Party loses the tag titles to the Hurt Syndicate. I thought it was well done. I thought this was the right time for the Hurt Syndicate. Be that as it may.
Private Party the transition was good, Juice.
Yeah, Private Party lost it too soon. Or here we go. Old ex-WWE guys get the titles. I mentioned this on the first show that we did. Not everybody can just be one company forever. People do change. Who do you want the titles to go on? And we'll talk about it later. Some of the homegrown talent that AEW has is currently on the sidelines. So who else are you going to give it to?
Well, I mean, listen, they got a building to sell in Los Angeles. Stone Cold Steve Austin likes to call it. Los Angeles, California. And Bobby and Swerve, they had a program. That seems like that's not happening. It seems like they're not going back to that program. It seems like it's dead in the water, which is fine. They moved on from it. So now you got Bobby and Shelton winning the tag titles. And you want to know what? At the end of the day, what was Private Party doing with the tag titles? I loved when Private Party won from the Bucks, but what were they doing? Was anybody, all these fake outrages online, the streamers and all this other stuff being like, they buried Private Party. You guys buried Private Party because you want to know what? Nobody was talking about them. They weren't on television. You guys didn't give a shit, and now all of a sudden they lose and now they're buried because it's low-hanging fruit. It's wrestling. It's not that serious. Like, they lost because they took a clean L last week.
Yeah, to the same team.
Yeah.
It's how wrestling works. Like, team, like, of all places where AEW for a while, and they still keep the records up, was AEW for a while was predicated on wins and losses. People do lose. That does happen. So if Private Party's just not good enough once they won the titles, then that's just how it is. And I mean that in a kayfabe sense. Like, if they couldn't beat the Hurt Syndicate, then the Hurt Syndicate was better than them in story. Yeah. Who cares? What is the problem with that? If you like Private Party, then you should be thrilled that they at least won the titles. They got that under their belt after 5 years of working really hard to get there. And now they can, the chase sometimes is worth more money. So just relax. Like, come on. And again, their old WWE guys that are coming in. Okay. Then if any AEW person goes to WWE, I want that same energy. If MJF were to go to WWE and you thought it was the greatest thing ever and he wins the world title, and you go, oh, well, it's just an AEW guy getting the benefit, then sure. But you're not going to say that. They're going to say, wow, look at this young upstart who never got the chance in WWE. Who cares where they're at or where they came from? Where they're currently wrestling is what matters in the grand scheme.
Yeah, I think we need to stop with that stuff. When Brett went to WCW and he started winning, where they just here's another
and did nothing.
Well, that was the genius. Although, we've seen recently how maniacal that whole thing was, like the person, but that's the genius of Vince McMahon. They would not know what to do with a Bret Hart. And basically Vince was like, go ahead, let them pay him this exorbitant fee. I'll sign 4 people for that cost. And here we are. So at the end of the day, not everybody is ex-WWF or WWE. Like, some of these guys have real polarizing, characters, and they're very visible. Their visibility's off the charts. I'm trying not to talk in bigger, not trying to sound like I just don't want to use bigger words where I could dumb it down so that I get my point across to where it makes sense to just everybody, the wide net audience. And I just think that we need to stop looking at this in such a bubble, right? This small bubble.
Yeah.
Like, Bobby and Shelton have a lot of visibility from what they previously did, and so does Copeland.
Bobby was in TNA for a while. Oh, he's an ex-TNA guy. Like, why don't they say that? We all know why. Because you don't like WWE, or if it was the flip side, it's because you don't like AEW.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but why do people feel the need to put it out there as if it matters?
The other thing is what's the lure? It
shows your bias.
Yeah, what's the pull? What is the pull for these quote unquote ex-WWE guys to come to AEW? Hey, you're going to job out. You're going to lose to Swerve every night. Oh, cool. Sign me up. Like, that's just not going to happen with these guys. They could do that somewhere else. So Tony offers, this is all, hearsay. I don't know.
Right.
So I'm sure Tony offers them a comfortable living, probably very nice. And he offers them some, hey, well, we'll put some titles on you. You'll have big programs and everything else. And I will listen to the creative input that you want to give and all this other stuff. And I think that's attractive. Reduce schedule, all that other stuff. There's a reason a mass exodus went from WCW to WWF. And there was a reason why there was a mass exodus from WWF to WCW. It happens. It's healthy. It's okay. People leave. They come back. It's okay. Just as long as it's not your wife. If she leaves, don't bring her back. Or your husband. Once they're gone, they're gone. Just kidding.
And CM Punk said, in the pipe bomb, I'm just a spoke in the wheel. I get it. All these guys that go from WWE to AEW, they realize that they're just new players on this new team, and they want to help out. And if they get a title shot and they win, whatever. But it's not forever. They know that at some point, the Hurt Syndicate's going to lose the titles, and then what? Are people going to complain about that?
Right. So my thing is I would have them hold the tag titles all the way till All In Texas. Truthfully. I mean, those are big names you could get on the card and have a high profile match. What happens if we have,
and they're believable, Drew. Let's be real. They are very believable. They're badasses, and they hurt people. Bobby
is such a good human being. And he's also when you're sitting next to him at the bar or you're walking past him in an airport, you're like, who the f is this dude? You know,
we're
if you
seeing
don't
him on Bourbon Street during WrestleMania week.
Or if
He's
you
this
don't know
massive
who
guy.
Right. If you don't know, if you don't follow professional wrestling, you don't know who Bobby Lashley is, you look at him and you're like, yeah, that guy passes the eyeball test, which is huge. And for me, like I said, if you could get Bobby and Shelton taking on FTR in a ladder match in Dallas, I'm here for it, or, whoever else they're going to take on, if it's going to be the Young Bucks or whatever. But at the end of the day, like, that's a marquee match. Bobby and Shelton, everybody loved what they were doing in WWE with the Hurt Business. Now they come over with the Hurt Syndicate. Obviously, they're minus one person. And it's like, this faction sucks now because they're in AEW. Come on.
And right. And they got MVP. Like, they got enough over there. What do you want? Like, fans are never satisfied, Drew.
Well, they never will be. I just wish that we stop looking in this bubble. It's just bad. It's just bad. Like when Juan Soto went to the Mets, was everyone like, the Mets are hiring too many Yankees? I don't know. It's just stupid. Just dumb.
Well, they will say that about the Dodgers and ruining baseball because they're just literally getting every potential player that has the upside that's unlimited. So,
I mean, if they don't win over 100 games, they should be ashamed of themselves.
Just win the World Series. Like they just won, and it's like, well, now they're trying to guarantee that they'll win again. Like, if anything less than that, it's a complete abject failure, which is insane.
Anything else would be uncivilized.
That's right.
Upside down.
You love throwing references to the masses.
Old movies, yeah. That's my game.
Well, old movies, old Drew.
Little place called Aspen. What do we got?
Jeff Jarrett was on this show again.
Not my show.
Drew turned it off when Jeff Jarrett's
music I was talking about this show, but go ahead. I digress. I like Jeff, Jeff.
Yeah, and his dyed mustache once again.
Whoa.
This time,
I got a little gray here. How you making fun of people that, I mean, I don't dye my stuff, but I mean,
are you dyeing it and then it turns yellow? No. Yellow? So I will not make fun of you. Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead.
Well, him and MJF are talking Old Yeller and putting people behind the woodshed and all these different things. And now it seems to intertwine Jeff Jarrett, MJF, Hangman, Claudio, and Mox all in this another bubble where if Jeff Jarrett's going to get a match against Claudio, some people are saying, well, Jeff Jarrett couldn't beat Claudio. Okay, but Claudio doesn't have the benefit of the acoustic equalizer. So Jeff Jarrett does have an idea. He could win that match. And if he does, he gets a one-on-one shot with Mox, assuming Mox is okay with Claudio just offering up this opportunity. MJF could step in and stop it. And then Hangman has a problem with MJF. So Drew, this mishmash of chaos, where do you see it following through? Is it going to be plain as Jarrett wins and gets the title shot and then someone, lays him out and costs him, or just Jarrett not even get to the title match and lose to Claudio?
First of all, if I was Moxley, I'd be pissed at Claudio. I'd be like, hey, why would you make this match?
Would you want to see that? Would you want to see like a little backstage of him being like, what the hell, man? It's not your title.
If Claudio loses, I would just be like, if I was Mox, I'd be like, what the hell? I didn't approve this.
Right.
That type of stuff. I think MJF has a good finger on the pulse for some things. Some things, right, obviously, he does not, because everyone misses. But I will say that I think that with this, he's, hopefully if he has any sort of say or there's some collaboration, not confrontation, that MJF is kind of like, we need to move away from just me and Jeff, or, maybe we should add some wrinkles to this. Or maybe this was the plan all along. I don't know, but I can tell you that the fans were not digging it last week. It seems like they dug the fact that they were on two separate segments of this show instead of not interacting with each other. Maybe that's done by design. I don't know. But I will tell you, if MJF does not cost Jeff Jarrett his opportunity next week, what the hell are we doing? What are we doing? That's my only thing. Like, you got it. At some points, I don't mind that we, got to let things play out. I'm a big advocate of that. But when you let them play out and then they don't play out at all, it's a problem.
Absolutely. And are you foreseeing the Jarrett, like, let's say Jarrett beats Claudio, is the Mox match at Grand Slam, or is the Mox match happening on Dynamite and then something happens and it's MJF Jarrett at Grand Slam?
Well, we saw the ending to Dynamite, and that had Jay White kind of trying to make the save on Copeland.
Him too. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, I like Jay White, but if we're just putting Jay White in the main event in a world title match because it's Australia and, Jay White, and we already had, that makes no sense to me. And you already have your major Australian, if you want to, go that route, main event or match. And that's Tony against Mariah. So we don't need to just have every Aussie in a match because they're from there in a high profile one. You get these guys and girls on the card, no doubt about it. But I mean,
you've got the tag match with Kyle Fletcher. Like, this is a huge match. So you've got a lot there already.
Like, if I had the pencil, which I don't, I would have had Fletcher and, Ospreay 3 there, and I would have had Fletcher beat Will Ospreay and win the Continental Championship. But it's just not what happened. No. It is what it is. We're here, and I'm not throwing a hissy fit. I'm not saying this stuff sucks. I like the tag match. I think it's awesome. It's a high-profile match, and there's an Aussie on that as well. But I think we don't need to just do Jay White because he's from there. Why not Hobbs at that point?
We'll talk about him. Yeah, where was Hobbs? It's the end of the show, and Jay White's involved, and why can't? Hey, that's right, Blake, and happy belated birthday, by the way, to Blake Mitchamore. And the hate for the chosen one is a little ridiculous. I think he should at least get a championship opportunity, and then who knows if he cashes in for one more time. JEFF.
How about GOONE? God. That's right. That's where I wish that program would go, truthfully.
Yeah, so where was Hobbs after this big moment last week? And it's like, all right, now we'll set it up.
Cut a backstage promo. Happy birthday to Willie Hobbs.
Happy birthday to him. All these birthdays.
Another really good dude. The backstage segment, a lot of people were like, well, maybe Hobbs wasn't there. Maybe he was, got delayed. Maybe
he had a pre-tape.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. But for me, Hobbs is making that save. I understand we got a problem or a program with Big Bill. I get it, Big
they're
Bill,
going to have a match. And if there was already travel issues that made the Nick Wayne Samoa Joe match not happen, if Hobbs had a similar issue to not be able to make it there, it would behoove AEW to say that instead of having a backstage thing and not acknowledge that, and people expect him to come out and then not, and then they get disappointed. So I don't know. It was very puzzling to me that he. For me, it's not. It was very obvious. Like, why wouldn't he be there?
It's not like I'm not like disappointed. I don't. Right. We didn't need to go that route with Jay White because he's in Australia or he's from Australia and the event's in Australia.
And you think that's it?
I mean, if he's going to take on Mox for the world title, then yeah. I mean, we're not there yet. If it's Jarrett and Mox, whatever, but whatever. But
what about Cope? Isn't Cope Mox going to be?
I think that's happening at LA. I don't know if Cope's going to go to Australia. I don't know. I don't know. So.
Really? He wouldn't wrestle in Australia. He wouldn't wouldn't you think that's I forgot, Drew. The show's already sold to whatever capacity they want, so
they don't need to do anything.
Forget putting anybody else on the card. They'll just throw it together last minute because they don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a big look at the poster, and Cope is not on the poster.
Sure, but card subject to change is also on the poster.
I hear you, but I mean, this is an updated poster.
Well, it's not even February yet, Drew. We got 3.5 weeks till the show. I'm just saying. Anything can happen in All Elite Wrestling.
You're 100% right. Anything can and will happen in All Elite Wrestling. So yeah, I mean, you are right. I don't know. Maybe we get Cope versus Claudio.
Yeah, something. A buffer for Mox, something like that. Yeah. A Michael buffer.
Maybe Claudio's the guy who just hands out title shots for Mox. So Jarrett wins, gets the title shot at Grand Slam.
Claudio Mox just gets his ass beat over and over again, and Mox has to wins. Again.
Yeah, Mox with Copeland beats Mox, or
You turned yourself into a pretzel.
Yeah, it's so convoluted. I'm trying to figure it out. So Cope would beat Claudio at Grand Slam and then gets the shot at Revolution. I mean, if that,
okay,
I'm not happy with it, but it is what it is.
Whoa, Drew! Breaking news. Drew is unhappy with something at AEW.
It's not that I'm unhappy. It's just like if we're just gonna have Claudio be the buffer before
I didn't
Mox,
like it,
and he's just gonna hand out title shots. I don't know.
What did that comment say? I was too busy mocking.
I don't know. If we could put it back up there, that'd be great. Here you go. Second, Juice, love you. Takes, keep up the great work, Drew. Always
Blake
a pleasure.
And Corey at some point be they can come in whenever we can
absolutely
fit them into another little. I'm so upset that I wish we needed the Who Killed WCW. Like that panel discussion was wonderful. They need more Dark Side of the Ring stuff so we can all argue about old wrestling.
Yeah.
Really argue. I meant Corey and I were civil, and you and Blake were going at it.
Tell me how it goes.
Oh man, something else I'd like to say with Dynamite before we head to some other stuff AEW related. The Hounds of Hell vignettes. No more Malachi Black. No problem. Brody King, Buddy, and Julia all coming in with a nice vignette showing that they are going to forge ahead together as a unit and separately, just without, quote unquote, a leader. We all know who that is. I thought it was a respectful way for the group to get out and not bury Malachi.
There was no reason for them to bury. Yeah.
By also, right. But you never know how the promo is going to come off. And they were just like, it works in character. Like, they need to move on. They felt they, need to keep going without someone that was, at the top for so long. And now we can see where they can all flourish. And I think all three absolutely will. So,
yeah. Yeah. The placement of the promo was strange to me. After Julia lost, which I love me some Julia.
Big fan.
Her production, the way she moves, everything, her mannerisms, just very, very well done. And very, very well done at a young age. I didn't like the placement of the promo package. The package was very well done. It was very respectful and it was very to the point. I also like the Ricochet thing I thought it was hysterical. Like Ricochet's going to gut Nana with a fish with a scissor. Good luck to you, brother. I've got some fish in my life. And some animals, and you do not want to be using a scissor.
Yeah. What is AEW's fascination with scissors?
I don't know. Scissor me, daddy. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they're done. They're done. The Acclaimed have left.
I will tell you that the glasses on Ricochet is a nice little touch.
It is combining the killers from Scream to the chaos crazed kid from Degrassi that shot Drake's character in the back.
Yeah, I never saw that show. I could tell you it reminds me of American Psycho and Scream. That's where
American Psycho. That's a great movie, Drew. Yeah. I think they're gonna remake that. Which
are they?
They remake everything, and I think if you get the right people involved, it can be done right. But that movie is one that I don't know if you can.
The lead in that is ridiculous. Who are you going to replace?
Christian Bale. I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah. So,
you want to talk about somebody who came from WWE who's doing good work in AEW and everyone was ready to shit on him? Ricochet.
It took a little bit of kind of going from let's just have matches to have matches, to let's give him something different, and he's bleeding into it. He's blending the character well. And it's violent. It's very AEW, and they're not pulling any punches. They're using scissors, for God's sake. And it gives him more substance than he's ever had. And that's really all I want. We all know he can deliver in the ring, but give me something I care about outside, because at a point, of course, AEW is where the best wrestle, but how about where the best cut promos and give me depth and story? That's what I want to see.
Well, and for me, for me, I appreciate what they do in the ring. Like that they are 100% some of the best athletes in the world, if not the best athletes in the world. No doubt about Beth. No Beth athlete in the world. But you know what? Like for me, it's just like I need something I could sink my teeth into. I need something I could, get invested in. And just because you could wrestle, that's great. But, how are you pulling me into the building? How are you captivating me through my television screen? Why am I paying attention? The in-ring stuff is great, but if you can't pull me and you cannot make me want to watch, I don't care. Why am I going to buy the pay-per-view?
Which is why it's interesting that, Ricochet didn't go any further in WWE. He all was based around wrestling for most of it. He really didn't have any character. And that's majority character work is WWE. And he goes to AEW, and now he has a more interesting character. It's a pretty unique thing to see. And for someone that I saw Ricochet win his second Battle of Los Angeles at PWG back in 2017, as a guy that only thought he would just wrestle and never he just didn't have a persona to me. They never really presented him with one.
Who was in that building? You and Dave Meltzer?
Dave Meltzer was 2 seats down from me. Yeah, front row.
Just you two?
No, but it felt. Well, the whole building was crazy. It's 300 people in an American Legion.
I'm only breaking your balls.
I know, but I'm here to tell you the truth.
Those shows looked very, very fun. I've never been to one. The only independent wrestling show that I've ever been to, I've been to two. And I don't know if you really want to call them independent. One was Ring of Honor. I've been to a couple of those.
Yeah.
When they were Ring of Honor.
Legitimately just Ring of Honor, yeah.
Yeah. This was in 05, 04.
That's the best time, yeah.
Yeah, 04, 05 at a sports complex on Long Island. And the other one was Dave Hero's GLCW.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Great Lakes Championship Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, PWG, so I think they closed down that American Legion, but they run out of what the hell is it called? It's in LA. It's it's a certain ballroom that they use now. Or it's a something theater. I can't think of the name, but when it was in that American Legion, it was put in there like sardines. Everybody was.
I remember seeing pictures. I feel like the fans could smack them mad.
You could. You were right there. If you look at the maybe some other time I'll show you the DVD. I have the DVD from that particular show, and it's got Keith Lee versus Donovan Dijak in it, and that was Meltzer gave it 5 stars. It was just wonderful that watch the match, Drew. And this was 2017, so pre AEW, where matches of that caliber were not happening all the time in America. But if you look in the back, there's a moonsault happening of Keith Lee, and you can see me just right there, looking up underneath, practically in the ring.
That's crazy.
So the PWG shows, I think, were very influential on what AEW was kind of founded on. I mean, of course, it was other aspects too, but PWG was they were the true, if you want great wrestling, all the Young Bucks and Cole and Omega. I mean, everybody, so many people, Ricochet, Keith Lee, like I said, so many different guys and girls went through there. Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae.
Even your internet didn't want you to get those lines out. You had some really bad audio issue. But that's okay. Right. Yeah, I heard it.
Hey, your video quality was crapping out earlier, and I didn't say anything about that. So
was it really tonight?
A little bit, yeah. You're a little foggy, or you glitch to where I see the last thing, and it's you and then you're already talking, and you're in another way.
It's your Kmart router. Don't bring that bullshit here.
Kmart's not even around anymore, Drew. That's a data.
That's reference. The point of the joke, dude. Jesus Christ. Next.
Yeah. Well, next is AEW Dynasty in Philadelphia. That got announced. I am here for this. I think it's a great opportunity for New York, New Jersey, PA in general, anyone in that area to go to an accessible AEW pay-per-view. I think it's going to be, is it the basketball arena for Temple?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so that's a good venue. They've run there before, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
They ran Death Before Dishonor there.
Okay, so a bigger show. That's good.
I think that's it, right? I might have my Ring of Honor pay-per-views messed up. What's the pay-per-view right before WrestleMania?
Super Card of Honor.
That's it then.
That might have been it.
Yeah, Super Card of Honor. Death Before Dishonor, Super Card of Honor. Yeah, that was in Philly, I believe. So yeah, they've ran there before. Dynamite was there, and
That's what I remember. Dynamite was
23.
yeah.
So it'll be a good sized venue for them. If they price the tickets right and they scale it right, they'll have a their pay-per-views do very well. So I think they'll have no problem selling 5,000-6,000 seats easy.
You gonna go?
Philly might be something I do. Yeah. Cause I really want to, I was there for Mania, but I really want to go back and explore more food options there, truthfully. And if I could parlay that with, seeing some people and some friends in AEW and, doing the media stuff for, here or there. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
You going to go?
I'm considering it for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
It's drivable. And I would suggest going to Ralph's, which is an Italian place in Philly. We stumbled upon
Italian ices or Italian food?
No, it's Italian food, Drew. We stumbled upon it, and it was like...
Listen here, jabroni. Ralph's Italian ices on Long Island, New York is the spot. So when I asked you, it wasn't just, being a jerk. We've had some good Ralph's Italian ices.
And it's great. I'm happy for you. I'm a Rita's fan. I'm a traditionalist. I don't live in Long Island.
Rita.
Anyway, Drew, Ralph's, it has served some of the most famous people, like presidents, celebrities, country artists. It's been around for over 100 years. We stumbled upon it because all the cheesesteak places and everything were like lines out the door that weekend, and we just came into this really nice restaurant and learned that it was like a historical landmark. But it was wonderful.
We had Angelo's literally,
okay,
and took it to Lincoln Financial Field. Before our tailgate opened. So we were eating Angelo's cheesesteak in the parking lot at Lincoln Financial Field right before the day one tailgate. And it was unbelievable.
So
but I'd like to go back and grab a pizza or something. There was a really good authentic Mexican place right by Angelo's too that we waited at. So very good.
I like authentic Mexican food. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I bet you do. Yep.
I do. I lived in California for a year, and that was the best part of it, was authentic Mexican.
What did you get from Rita's? Or Ralph's?
Chicken parm, my favorite.
All right.
Drew, if you knew me.
Are you like the guy who goes to like a fucking restaurant and orders like crap? Well, I'll take the kids' mac and cheese.
No, I'm the guy that orders chicken parm anywhere.
Everywhere?
Yeah.
Did they have veal parm?
Remember how we... Remember when we talked about you earlier in the show being like, well, I haven't tried all the Chinese food, so I can't say that. I am going out of my way to try as many chicken parm.
All right, so I'm a wing guy, right? Love chicken wings. Tommy loves wingy.
Yes.
But so I try if wings are on the menu and it's not like just a regular bar.
Flats or drums.
All right, so here's the thing with me. I like whole wings, but I break them and cut them. But I like the flats that have the actual like flapper, the wing on it. You know what I'm talking about? Like the little extra piece. Yep. Yeah.
Tommy went wingy.
That's right.
I would
really love some chicken wings.
A couple of months.
Is it?
Yeah, I'll be.
Yep. Let me check. Yep, still closed. Good movie.
Is that your favorite Chris Farley movie?
No, Black Sheep by far. I love Tommy Boy, but Black Sheep is better.
I love Black Sheep because it's just funny. It's the same movie a year later.
It's the same plot. It's just vote for Donnelly. That's the only thing.
My favorite part of that movie, it's probably my favorite Chris Farley thing ever, is whenever they're like looking for cell service and David Spade's like looking around.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where he is, and Farley comes in. Hello, Washington. And he does like a huge flip into the water.
Yep.
Oh my God. Yeah, Black Sheep. I'm glad you said that because people revere Tommy Boy as they should.
Well,
but I think people forget Black Sheep.
It's commercially like completely well received and over shown, but I love Black Sheep. Tommy Boy is
Gary Busey too. Black Sheep.
Yeah, Tommy Boy is a cult classic, but for me, Black Sheep, it's like the little nuances are more funnier in my opinion in Black Sheep. But like I'll never turn down it
when he's on the stage for MTV.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Or when he comes out of the cabin and his hair's like all like disheveled and he looks like, and he's like, whoa, what happened? Like, it's just the little things that Farley was the master of. This right here, right? this is your moneymaker. And Chris was very, very good at that.
He's probably the best physical comedian of his time outside of Michael Richards, the guy who played Kramer.
Yeah, who's hysterical that I think doesn't get a lot of credit. First of all, I think his show on Netflix is and it's a cartoon, is absolutely hysterical, and that's F is for Family, and that's Bill Burr. Bill Burr is fucking hysterical.
He is good. Hysterical. Yeah, I like him.
So, yeah, I like Bill Burr. Very funny.
Look at us talking comedy here. A late night on a Thursday.
I'm going to say this because we're talking, and this isn't a comedy show or whatever, but my favorite stand-up movie is Eddie Murphy's Raw.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's just I've watched that stand-up. I've watched that set probably literally 900 times. I could recite word for word. I won't do it here because I'll get canceled, but I could recite everything word.
Yeah, you
for
probably
word.
Shouldn't, Drew. I would refrain.
Maybe I didn't. I kill that fool. Tell me them lies. Like I love that his whole stand up at the Garden was fantastic. So, and Delirious is good too.
You sell out the Garden for a comedy show, you're doing pretty well. I think
it was the theater, but he still did very, very well. And
still it's New York.
He did Delirious. I think in LA. And Delirious is very good too.
What else was very good, at least I felt that it was, for the most part, because we're going to transition here into a little bit of different stuff that we normally don't, maybe a realm we normally don't discuss. This past weekend had some wrestling that was not WWE and AEW. TNA and GCW ran this past Sunday. I did not catch all of TNA. I caught most, if not all, of GCW, but I thought at least the TNA show was well received. It looked like it had a great capacity crowd there. The venue looked fun. I very much enjoyed probably 75 to 80% of the GCW show that I watched. Unfortunately, it was hampered with some time constraints due to the unfortunate injury from Allie Katch. Hopefully, she gets better soon. That was a brutal leg break. It reminded me of Sid's from WCW Sin. And you didn't really know that it happened. Like I saw her do the dive and I kind of looked away. And then all of a sudden, like the match just never continued. And then I saw a replay and I was like, oh my God. So outside of that, which again, it hampered the time where things were slowed down because the state commission needed to tend to her and they couldn't be out there for the next match. So that slowed everything down. And it kind of messed up the main event. I think it was supposed to end up being a schmoz to where you get a triple threat in the main event. But that being said,
I think Effie was still going to win, though.
Oh, you think?
I think Effie was always going to win the main event.
Oh, okay. I think it would have been a better match. Well, Allie could have won the match, and then Effie could have chased Allie. But Mance, I don't think, was going to walk out as champion because it was a triple threat.
Yeah,
he just wouldn't have taken the pin.
Yeah, right. I would agree there. Okay, Go ahead.
Tanaka and Joey Janela killed it. I mean, watching Masato Tanaka in the Hammerstein Ballroom is always.
It brought me back to like my high school
live,
days.
Man. Yeah, well,
I did.
Saw it live at One Night Stand.
I did.
David redid like an awesome bomb type thing off the apron to him, and he took another crazy bump. Like, God, these guys just get older, and some of them just they care less. Like PCO, who trashed the TNA Digital Media Championship in, I guess it was a shoot that no one else knew anything about, but he felt that was what was going to further an angle, and it was what it was. Luckily, it was on the pre-show, so I don't think it caused as much chaos as it could have on live pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Other highlights, Matt Cardona, I enjoyed the build-up to what happened, but I feel like that also had some issues, considering he's mentioned over and over again how the match has changed 7 to 8 times leading up to the actual show. So who knows what the plan was. Tajiri, super crazy, and Little Guido having a wonderful renaissance in a trios match was really cool to see as well. And the ladder match was nuts,
Tajiri is one of the most underrated ECW talents and WWE talents of all time, in my opinion. I love me some Tajiri. Huge fan. I waited till AEW and GCW were both done with the Hammerstein. I hate the paint job. I hate it.
Thank you.
It's a little thing for me, but like I miss the yellow. I do. I don't. I
don't think it's a little issue at all, Drew. I think a lot of fans would agree with you.
Because when you look
terrible, it just doesn't look the same. And a lot of times, like move with the times, upgrade the building, and that's great. But some you should just leave how it is as long as it's up to code or whatever, And you see the balconies that have that wood paneling. It was always really cool to see everybody on top of it, but now it just looks very new age and lame and futuristic, and I'm not here for it. Give me 1999 Hammerstein, not this.
Give me 2005, 2006 Hammerstein. I'm with you. Tanaka and Janela were the highlight for me. Joey has come such a long way since, he's gotten clean and everything else like that. So good for him. And you know what? Him and Tanaka, what a match. And now Janela's going to have Sabu's last match. Yeah. So I think that's pretty cool.
I like that Joe Janela is kind of like the guy. He's like me in a way with me in WCW, with him in ECW. He likes celebrating the historical.
Except he's wrestling and you have a stupid backwards hat on. I get it, but I'm just saying you two are nothing alike.
Okay, well, what am I? I have a picture with Joey Janela. We're very alike. We drank We drank in the middle before the PWG main event. We're very alike. We're very just normal guys with backwards hats. Except I don't smoke cigarettes, so. And I don't smoke them backwards either. If I were to smoke them.
You sure?
I am sure.
All right. Yes. Janela is crossing off his ECW bucket list, and more power to him. He's having the matches he probably has always wanted to have as a kid, so good for him.
Yeah, I think, again, being able to do that and, people, they're starting, I don't know, they believe in him. Sabu was willing to do it. Clearly he respects that Joey Janela has this admiration for the business and ECW in general. And I'm sure he helped facilitate, Guido and Tajiri and some of these guys in making these things happen. So again, I really like that he brings that to the forefront for GCW. So go ahead.
This is my opinion. Okay, before people clip this and run with it and everything else like that. I believe that there is a loose affiliation with GCW and the WWE. There's a lot of WCW or WWE. There's a lot of WWE talent former in GCW, and I understand once they're former, they can go wherever they want, blah, 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 blah. But I'm sure getting the
ID folks as well, right?
Right, and I'm sure getting
people involved.
I'm sure getting the Hammerstein is not cheap. So maybe, maybe
twice.
Right. Maybe, I don't know the first time, but maybe the WWE got that, helped. I don't know. This is my opinion. So again, I'm sure, Brett Lauderdale has many different contacts, but for me, it just seemed like even the video footage, it just seems like there's a loose affiliation with GCW and World Wrestling Entertainment. They'll never be married. They'll never say it because GCW is everything WWE is not and will ever be. So
right, and I mentioned this on Twitter of clip it, right. Of WWE helped fund ECW around their first pay-per-view, and it was found out later that that's what happened. But during the time, you had no idea, even though you had Sandman and all those guys front row at a pay-per-view causing chaos. That should have
mind games.
Yeah, that should have tipped some people off, but. This in a different way. I noticed they showed the Sabu thing. They showed a clip of Sabu in WWE falling off the R at the Raw set. The WCW.
Bro, The Rock was on GCW's video package. The Rock.
They showed everything. So I'm like, where are they allowed to do this? Or are they just saying screw it?
DJ doesn't let you drop his name without dropping a couple hundy in his stocking. So don't sit back and tell me that DeWanta Claus is going to sit back and allow you to use that footage, or WWE is going to allow you to use that footage without some sort of approval. Well, you can be rebel all you want. I hear you. Join the revolution. We've all seen this song and dance before. I'm telling you right now, GCW and the WWE, I think there's something going on.
GC, WWE, and NXTNA. Speaking of, Joe Hendry wins the world title. Finally.
He's not here. I'm not saying his name.
But
not in the budget.
Will he be in the Royal Rumble?
Yes. I think Joe Hendry and John Cena are going to have a match before 2025 is over. Book it. Clip it. Send it to your sister. Send it to your mother, your aunt's, niece's, uncle's brother. Send it. John Cena and Joe Hendry are having a match together before 2025 is over.
Would it be in TNA?
Are you on heroin? No. TNA.
Why not?
I mean,
wouldn't that be something John Cena would do? Like, I'm going out. Well, who cares?
Yeah,
I'm going to wrestle in
you
TNA.
Know what? Let me rewind this. You're probably not on heroin. I know you're not on heroin. And for anybody who's dealing with addiction, I sincerely wish you the best and hope that you stay in recovery and everything else like that. It's not really funny to make a joke like that when people are dealing with drug addiction. But I mean, it's a lighthearted show, so get over it. I wasn't serious. I will say that you could do it at the UBS Arena, sure. Because they're headed there. They could, yeah. John's never worked TNA, right?
No. Oh, another ex-WWE guy working at TNA.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah,
I just think it'd be cool. Like, why wouldn't he? Now, here's the thing. Even if John Cena were to somehow win the TNA title, that doesn't count for his world championships, does it?
No.
Is he going to win number 17 from Joe Hendry?
No. Oh, that'd be dumb. That'd be really
It has
dumb.
to be WWE, I think.
That would be WWE creative on heroin.
They would. You just said don't make light of it after making light of it. Now you're just going back to the well again.
It's a joke. If it's 2025, you can't take a joke. Get the fuck out of here. It's a joke.
It is a joke. It is a joke. It's a joke.
Well, there you go. I set it up like 9 times for you. You just like,
Hey. Maybe my Kmart internet is not up to snuff.
There you go.
Drew, okay, I'm embracing the hate.
Yeah, Joe Hendry in the Rumble. Joe Hendry versus John Cena. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, though.
So let's transition into the WWE because we got a lot to talk about in regards to that. We have Saturday night's main event coming up in a couple of days. A lot could happen there. A lot set up to happen there.
How would you know? You didn't show up to Philadelphia, you cheap bastard.
Oh, my God. I showed up. I was there. I didn't see you.
Oh, yeah, you did. You did ask me where I was.
Yeah, and you're like, I left. Okay. Hey. I said my internet is slow. Relax.
That was good.
All right, let's talk about some WWE, okay? Let's get back into this thing. Let's start off with Penta once again. They added pyro to his entrance, and damn it was the craziest looking pyro I've seen in a long time. Drew, is Penta already just ascending to a level that he never would have touched in AEW in 2 weeks?
I mean, I think that's ridiculous.
Okay, then just say you disagree. I'm not saying that that's what I believe. I'm just saying, is that the case? He's getting presented in such a high level. They just said, WrestleMania where you get to do a suite with him? Oh, no, for MSG. You get to hang out with him.
Yeah, listen, I think that they're putting all the bells and whistles behind Penta, and rightfully so. Penta's a dog. I think you could see Penta versus Finn at WrestleMania, or Penta versus Rey Mysterio makes a lot of sense for me.
Penta versus the Demon.
Right. But I think Penta versus Rey Mysterio. Shout out Santino Marella. I think that that could happen. But I think the Rocket's behind Penta. He doesn't need to win a world championship, but he's presented like a star, and he'll be continued to be presented like a star for sure. For sure.
In regards to Dominic Mysterio talking to Gable about recruiting a luchador, who do you think that is?
I don't know. Dragon Lee?
You think Dragon Lee is on the dark side now?
I don't know. I don't know where that one's going, but I think it would be interesting if Ray turned heel after everything that's gone on, and Ray was just
joined up with Dom.
And Ray, would you want to talk about some nuclear heat, brother? I think that if Ray did decide to go that route, and Penta was just like, Ray was just jealous, you're trying to take me out, like I'm the legend, all that other stuff. I think it works.
I think it works too. Rey Mysterio turning heel. That's never
happened.
Has
he ever been a heel?
No. How could he be?
Got to do it then. You got to do it before that man retires. Got to.
They've been saying about John Cena, but they're probably not going to do that either.
John's a little different. You got to do it now. Now that we put it out there, it's got to happen. Got to happen.
It has to happen now.
Got to happen.
Well, you said it. You don't have the pen or the pencil. You have a stamp.
I don't. I have a Sharpie.
Normally, you have a little pencil. You got notes. You got going on. You got the whole little. Oh, there you go. Is that a Pilot G207? Yeah, vindicated. Let's go.
Oh,
I know my pens.
Oh my God, this gets worse and worse by the minute. You're like a pen nerd.
I just know a lot about nothing. I know a lot about a little, Drew.
All right, buddy. Hold on. Let me see.
And a little about a lot. Here we go. I think the one you had before was a Papermate, the one that looked like an old pencil, but it was a mechanical one.
No, I don't have mechanical pencils.
What was that yellow one you had the other?
It was a pencil. It was a, what is it, Ticonderoga or something? What are they called?
Yeah, the number 2, Ticonderoga. See, you're a pencil nerd too. Pencil neck geek.
I'm definitely not a pen or a pencil nerd.
You just threw out the name Ticonderoga. You absolutely are to an extent.
They're just pens, dude. I had one, but I don't have it here because this show sucks. Go ahead. Talking about pens. I'm only breaking your balls. Go ahead.
Hey, no, do what you got to do. It's Drew and Juice. So I'm the back end of this. I take all the jokes. I take the heat.
I will tell you that if somebody asked me, they were like, "What do you think you two would be talking about?" I would never have had pens on my bingo card. Not to mention the fact that you'd be like, "Is that a Pilot G207?" I was just like, "Yep." Sure.
That's a great moment in the show's history, Drew. 3 weeks in, we got to clip that.
I mean, sure. Listen,
I will clip that. To be honest,
you should.
I'll send it to. I'll tag a Pilot. We'll get free pens. Lifetime supply of pens. It's my favorite Seinfeld episode too. Is the pen.
The pen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Season 3.
Yep.
Check it out. All right, let's talk a little Saturday night's main event. Coming up this Saturday, 4 matches plus a segment. And the segment I think is going to be very interesting. I discussed this with a friend of the show, Josh Eisenberg. It will come out tomorrow. It's only a day away on the Juice Box in our Saturday night main event prediction show. So, hey, am I not allowed to reference anything? Yeah, it's only Drew. Drew's the only reference guy here. That's it.
I mean, I'm referencing like Tommy Boy. You're out here referencing Annie.
But you knew it.
I mean, everyone knows America's favorite little redheaded stepchild.
Okay.
I mean, come on now.
Well, that's why I referenced it.
All right,
I know what the people want. Anyway, Saturday night's main event. We don't really have to go through each match, but I will just ask your thoughts on certain things. Like, for instance, Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman, that's pretty much a showcase for Jacob Fatu. And I don't think it's a bad thing for Braun Strowman. I mean, he gets a huge spot here. I think he kind of knows where he's at on the card. We're going to see a huge Samoan drop. Like, anything super crazy here with this match to put Jacob Fatu even more over than he already is?
Well, you're not going to see somebody take a moonsault off the second balcony. But,
he will hit a moonsault, though.
Listen, I think this is exactly what you said it's going to be. It's going to be a showcase of big men, big meaty men slapping meat, I think the terminology is. And this is going to
the terminology.
This is going to be, an all-out, a big man's match. And I think it's going to showcase Jacob. They're going to take care of Braun in this one. But at the end of the day, this is an attraction. This is what a lot of people look and they're like, this is going to be something. And it will be. Braun's a dog, and so is Jacob. But Jacob's got that upward trajectory that I can't see him taking an L here. So I'm going to go with Fatu in this one.
With Rhea and Nia, is there anybody returning? Because I see this match just being an easy Rhea Ripley win. Is there anything to further Rhea following this, like a Becky or Charlotte? Because we discussed on the show with Josh that Charlotte already has a vignette showing she's coming back. So it doesn't even matter if she's a surprise in the Rumble. You could put her out now and have Becky be a surprise. And the Women's Royal Rumble, I think, is also going to be just as stacked as the men. Just throwing that out there.
I think Charlotte's next vignette will probably be like, returns at the Rumble. They've done that a lot. Cody did it. A lot of other talent has done that before. So I think the surprise is Becky, Jordan Grace in the Rumble. I don't think you see Charlotte before the Rumble.
Okay. So you don't see anything other than this match with Rhea and Nia just being a match, a rematch from Chamber last year?
Yeah, and maybe you get like a live interference or something. I don't know.
Okay. So you think that might be furthered too? They're going back to that? That's my problem. I want to see Rhea do something different. I don't want it to be Live Again. We've seen that song and dance.
I don't know. WWE is very unpredictable at times right now. Like some things you could kind of see, but some things you really can't. I think that's the masterclass right now of Triple H's booking. And them keeping things very under wraps. So I think if I'm booking WrestleMania and where I think we're headed to Tiff and Charlotte, and I think we could easily see. I think we could easily see Rhea and Jordan Grace. So I don't know.
Ooh, wow,
that's just me.
I think that would be swell, considering the people that you didn't mention there could make up their own card of matches, which is insane.
I mean, Becky and Liv can have a match
2 nights.
Yeah, Becky and Liv can have a rematch. So.
For sure.
Yeah.
Does Sheamus become the ultimate Grand Slam champion?
No, Braun's going to hold that till WrestleMania.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I just feel like if Braun were to lose this now, because it adds to his stock towards something like the Rumble. Like if Braun Breaker goes in the Royal Rumble as IC champion, he's not winning. And I'm not saying he's winning if he's not champion, but it's more believable to me because he's not already a champion. And he'd have a motivation from being pissed off that he lost to Sheamus. Just to give Sheamus this little moment before he eventually retires. It's probably one of his last big time matches, I would wager.
I would say that if you're looking for a title to change hands on this card, I think it could be the Jey Uso taking on Gunther match. I think they could do this because you could quickly have a rematch at the Rumble and Gunther can get his championship back. This way, Jey is out of the Rumble and so is Gunther. That's, a lot of people, I've had this conversation with some friends and I've said, the Rumble you got to pay attention to and you got to see who eliminates who. And who is the final couple competitors, which we talked about last week on Drew and Juice. But you really got to protect some people in the Rumble. Like you can't just have CM Punk get dumped by, R-Truth, because where's that leading? CM Punk is more than likely going to maybe him and Seth Rollins eliminate each other. Maybe they're 1 and 2, that type of stuff. The Rumble this year is absolutely stacked, and we need to pay attention to who is going to be eliminating who and how they're eliminated because they're going to protect a lot of people. So not having Jey and Gunther in the Rumble, I think is smart, and you can have those two fight for the title. It's just me.
And I like that. With Jey and Gunther, you brought up a great point, though. There's only 3 matches right now for the Royal Rumble. I mean, are they going to add 1, 2 more? Like, it's pretty crazy that they've got a ladder match and 2 matches that are going to take over an hour. So there's not much more room you can fit on there. I like your idea of, Jey and Gunther wouldn't be in the Rumble if they swap the title here, and then they can have that rematch immediately back there. I don't know. I think it's an intriguing idea, but do you think they add any? They have to add another match at least, right? To the Rumble 3-match card?
Right now we're looking at, the Rumble match, both men and women, and you're looking at the ladder match. I think there absolutely could be another match on this card. I think years prior, I think it was, 4 matches. Let's take a look, Ski. I want to say it was 4 to 5.
Or 4 they've done before, for sure.
Yeah. So it was a 4-match card. I could see them adding Gunther and Jey to this card and then kind of keeping it where it is. But I could also see, I think Saturday night's main event was also something where they could get some of the matches they weren't going to get on the Rumble onto a major show. So maybe that's why you're seeing this match. I don't know. The United States Championship could be defended on the Rumble as well.
Yeah, I could see that happening. It's just there's only, 1 episode of 2 episodes of SmackDown, but I don't know how many matches are going to be created next Friday when the show is the following day.
Right. So, if it's me, I do both Rumbles. We have the Cody Kevin ladder match, and I add. Depending on what we see from Saturday night's main event or what their plan is, I could see them easily adding, a rematch for the World Heavyweight Championship. See.
I like that. I think that's a good plan of attack. I feel.
If Gunther wins clean, Jay's going to throw himself right into the Rumble, though.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't mind seeing him win it. To be honest with you. Lastly, the contract signing. I'm going to throw this out to you. We tried to pinpoint, Josh and I did at least, what could happen to build this more than, the obligatory, maybe someone goes through the table between KO and Cody with Shawn Michaels, Hall of Famer, San Antonio's own, being the moderator here. I put out that it would be fun for Cody to maybe get a one-up on Kevin Owens in some way during this contract signing, and Shawn Michaels kind of like laughs at KO and like agrees with Cody, and it's like way too buddy-buddy. What happened the last time Shawn Michaels was in the ring when the Winged Eagle was in the realm? He got stunned by Steve Austin and lost at WrestleMania 14. So give me KO stunning Shawn Michaels to build more heat for next week at the Rumble.
But where does it lead? Shawn's not wrestling. I will tell you this.
It's for sympathy for Cody. Cody needs to, more, reason to win.
If Kevin can get Shawn out of retirement like he got Steve, Kevin's just the GOAT. Could you imagine Shawn Michaels and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania? I can't.
I bet Shawn Michaels would love to have another match so they can erase that bald Shawn Michaels match from Crown Jewel.
How dare you?
They made a figure of that.
Yeah, I know. It looks like
Sam Roberts.
Ooh, hey now. So I don't see Shawn getting physical. And, if he does, then.
So then what do you think happens at the contract signing? Not like the same old pop-up powerbomb through the table.
I think Shawn will be like, well, you two grow up. Like that.
And I think KO's unhinged and will put more heat on himself, and Cody will get the sympathy. We're trying to win win a ladder match with 2 belts like Shawn Michaels couldn't do at WrestleMania 10. Come on, Drew.
Then KO needs to come out with Bret Hart and have Bret and Shawn kind of look at each other like that type of stuff.
And then Gunther can bring out Goldberg.
Yeah.
His favorite wrestler.
No. Yeah. I don't know about that. Actually, I take that back. I take it back. So we'll see. Bring out. See, there you go. Tim's got it. Yeah. There you go.
So we did. Oh, and Jesse Ventura is confirmed. So
yeah. Is everybody okay now that Jesse went out and tweeted about it? Everyone's like, boy, I don't think we're gonna see Jesse. Yeah, you're gonna see Jesse.
Who are you? What kind of imitation are you trying to do there? Is that the generic wrestling fan on Twitter that has a gripe?
Yeah. Where is Jesse? Is Jesse going? Like, I haven't seen him tweet. Like, where is he? And Jesse
that's Doc Hendricks is what it is.
Jesse will be there. Okay. Where is Jesse Ventura? He'll be there.
Will brother be there, or is he upset still that CM Punk tore him to shreds?
Brother was all over Fox News during the Trump inauguration. So he might be busy. I don't know. I would assume. Yeah. he's in the commercial, so I could see them doing more stuff.
But with Ventura being in the building, that's my. Because I don't know if Jesse would want to. Jesse was so out of WCW as soon as Hogan got into WCW. It's that bad. And it's never ended. It's been 30 years since. Yes. So if Hogan's even around the building, I don't know. Maybe Jesse just stays the commentary and it's like, hey, as long as he doesn't get near me, we won't have a problem.
Brother. Yeah. Brother.
Speaking of brother. Oh, brother. These WrestleMania individual ticket prices, Drew. Can anybody afford this? Is anybody going to even be there?
No, but you know what's free? Guys, girls, ask a question because the question part of this show is coming up. So if you have a question, no questions are off limits. Ask it. I will and Juice will answer them to the best of our ability. Juice, the WrestleMania ticket prices are nuts. I was on a podcast. I think I was in Pittsburgh with Justin LeBar. We're on the Pittsburgh Podcast Network. I said to Justin, and I've said it for, over a decade now. I think we were headed to WrestleMania 35. Me and Justin. Might have been WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans, which WrestleMania is going back to New Orleans.
We'll talk about that in a moment too.
And I said, go to WrestleMania while you can. And Justin was like, why? And I was like, because
he does sound like that. Why? Why not?
Well, because WrestleMania is going to become something that the normal person can't afford. And he was like, nah, I could see it. You're right. And here we are. And I've screamed it from the mountaintops. Like, hey, go. Last year was, I think, the last affordable WrestleMania ever. And 39 was high, but it was still,
also in LA. It's not cheap.
But Vegas and the prices across the country for things for WWE are nuts. Are absolutely nuts. And you want to know what,
the location of Vegas is if you're going to Vegas, your trip is expensive. Let alone then you're buying an expensive ticket for a show in a place where you're already going to spend a lot of money. It's a pit.
Yeah. I'm telling you guys right now, there's not much to do in Vegas besides go to strip clubs, gamble, and drink. So just
literally throwing money away.
Yeah, just be careful because Vegas will humble you quickly. I'm in and out of Vegas in 24 to 48 hours, as fast as humanly possible.
No sleep.
No, for the most part, no. I mean, you're up. I go to conferences, then at night they want to do dinner and drinks and all this other stuff, and then you're getting to bed at like 2, 3 in the morning, and then you're up at 6, and then meetings, and then I'm out. Bye. See ya.
Yeah. And over the last year and a half, I've been saying, WWE has emphasized the first letter of their acronym
World
wholeheartedly. Yeah, world. They're going to any and all places. Things are going to be a lot tougher to get to. Less and less is going to be here domestically outside of, certain shows. And we'll talk about it now. Future WrestleMania locations. It's rumored that New Orleans is going to be coming up in a couple of years, but we've talked about Nashville. We talked about London. That could be happening. And now Saudi Arabia is absolutely in the conversation. So who knows where the hell it's going to go in the next 3 to 5 years.
What was funny to me, Juice, is that, people were like, oh, Drew said there was going to be a press event in, New Orleans. And I didn't say they were having a kickoff show. I didn't say they were booking the Smoothie King Arena to have a kickoff show. I said there was going to be some sort of press event. And I still believe that there will be a presence from WWE on Media Row at the Super Bowl. And could they announce WrestleMania being there that week? Sure. Could they wait till SmackDown's there in a couple of weeks after that? Sure. But WrestleMania...
They did the Vegas thing, but they didn't announce Mania in Vegas until well after that. It just happened to be lining up like that to where if you see, event in New Orleans, they're going to announce it. And sure, but like you said, it'll take place. They usually announce it after WrestleMania where the next one's going to be. So,
and for me, it's like, again, they're going to have a presence on Super Bowl Media Row. How they deter, what they do,
and why not capitalize on everybody being there?
If Pat's going to announce it, maybe Nick Khan announces it on Pat's show. I'm sure the city would like to have a formal announcement and a press conference, so they could do that too. They could do that when SmackDown's there, but realistically, WrestleMania, in my opinion, is lock, stock, and barrel headed to New Orleans, barring an unforeseen circumstance like we had here in Minneapolis. I think WrestleMania, the next couple locations are New Orleans, Nashville at the new Titans facility, Nissan Stadium. Yep. And I'm going to go with Indy. I will say,
Indy's locked in. That's the other thing. They will be getting one soon.
Well, and that's the thing. When the deal was announced for Indianapolis, that 3-event 10-year deal, I was told that Mania would be the last event they get. Like it would be the last one out of those 3 years. But maybe they want to do the Rumble Mania and then Slam, which I could see. And plans always change, but I was told that, Mania would be the last. So I'll have to wait and see on that one.
That kind of makes sense, though. It's like you get them Royal Rumble, and it's a 10-year deal. So you get Royal Rumble, and then eventually it's like, all right, well, you like that? It'll likely be a 2-night.
You like that?
Yeah. No one likes Kirk Cousins anymore. He's washed.
This is a conversation for a different day, but it's funny to watch people. It's funny to listen. I didn't play in the NFL, but it's funny to watch people be like, wait. Well, I mean, I played at a decently high level, but not the NFL. He would, people are like, oh, he's washed, dude. Everyone said the same thing about Rodgers, right? And then Rodgers turned it up at the last, 5 or 6 games. These guys are coming off major surgery, Achilles, completely torn. It takes a while to come back and to feel normal and to move around normal. So I don't think Cousins is washed.
I can agree with you, but it's the mentality of trying to rush back and prove something when you just had a huge injury. And I'm sure like the contracts and stuff, you can't just wait around to be 100%. But him and Rodgers, without an offensive line, they are statues in the pocket. And like, it's only going to be hurting them more if you're not mobile. And the NFL is all mobile these days. Yep. You have to have that ability. So that's where when I say washed, I don't mean like he's done forever. I'm sure he will come back and play somewhere, but time's running out, man. But I like the we'll talk in a little NFL championship weekend at the end of this, but
hell yeah.
I think you got a solid guy with Aaron Glenn. So and they have a good defense anyways, but why not ramp it up? I don't know if Rodgers should go back there or not. I don't know what if he runs it back, he's got to run it back with Devontae too. Otherwise, take Devontae, trade him to the Steelers.
We back.
You guys can have George Pickens.
I don't want George Pickens.
No, but we don't want him. No one wants him. He's a headache.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the talent, but I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know if I want. I'm weird. I think we're good with that right now.
Yeah. So.
But
anyway, like I said, we got thrown off. Like I said, they would like Royal Rumble, but wouldn't it be better? Then you get a 2-night SummerSlam, and it kind of like, okay, now we really see what this can be, and that's the 2-night like teaser. Then you get WrestleMania. It's like, this is what we really can do. That makes sense to do Rumble, SummerSlam, Mania.
Hold on a second.
What?
Just to further my point, I was just texted that Mance Warner is in TNA right now.
Well, Matt Cardona showed up tonight as well. Funny how that works, Andrew.
Funny how that works. Funny seeing you here.
Mance Warner, I love him. I tweeted out that he would have been a great member of the Stud Stable back in mid-90s WCW with Bunkhouse Buck and Terry Funk and those guys, like rugged. He sounds like Steve Austin, which kind of helps. And he's just like a badass guy. He takes crazy bumps. So I like old Manser. And
so we still think my theory is crazy.
Like me some Steph DeLander as well. He's with her.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we still think
that's Cardona's heater.
Yeah, and I think that's who Warner came out with. So it's very interesting. Very, very interesting.
I love how it happens live, and you get vindication live on the air, Drew. It's almost as if you knew and know what you're talking about.
Sometimes.
That's why. Once again, that's why it's Drew. And Juice. I don't know what this mirrored thing is crazy. I don't know if I'm looking mirrored. I'm pointing this way. It's going that way. I don't know what the hell's going on this show. A couple more things before we get to the questions. It's been real fun so far. Once again, I'm appreciative of anybody that's tuned in thus far to Drew and Juice. Any of these first 3 weeks. Can't believe we've made it 3 weeks. Next week, if we hit 4 weeks in a row, that will be a month's worth of shows. I can't believe it. And Drew, can you please send me the audio from last week?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sorry. Yes.
Well, then we're behind. You got to send me the audio from this show. Some little note here. Nikki Bella, rumored to return. Any interest? Do you think the main audience of WWE would be interested in Nikki Bella? Now there's no spoilers because I haven't watched the latest episode, but she's been featured on the wonderful reality show, The Traitors. And if you haven't watched that show, Drew, I suggest you watch it. It's on Peacock. But be that as it may, rumor has it that she could be coming back to WWE. And there were people being like, well, who is this for? She's a huge presence. Online, around the world. Like,
I don't think her sister's coming with him. But
no, I don't think so either. But does she need to? I think Nikki Bella could do one run,
I think Nikki's absolutely on. It is my opinion that Nikki Bella is absolutely on her way back to WWE.
Royal Rumble.
Makes sense.
You think we see AJ Lee at the Rumble? I'm taking that as a yes. So
I don't know.
Picture's worth 1,000 words. Or I don't know. Yeah, of course you don't know, but we don't know. It didn't happen yet.
Yeah,
it's all speculation.
It's all speculative.
And speaking of speculation, this is the last thing I want to talk about before we get to some NFL, and then we'll close out with questions.
Go ahead.
And it's almost rhetorical for me because I know known you for a long time. Mm-hmm. You always say you don't report on dirt, right? Yeah. So you kind of mentioned at the beginning of the show of how chaotic it's been, at least just today. But in the past week or two, we've discussed like content people, streamers, people on Twitter, this and that, reporting on things or talking about things, whether they get the info from this or this or this, not crediting sources, all these different types of issues. Why do you think it's so prevalent now that it almost seems like a wild, wild west, and not in a good way of everybody can report things and it's all accurate? It's anybody can report things and a lot of it isn't accurate, and it takes people that are in the know to then say, well, I don't know where you got that from. And now no one's reputable.
Everybody, it's funny to me because everybody is like sources, and it's like, I don't like, Not doing that. Never. Here's the thing. I never will. I talk to so many people and their conversations with me. I'm not trying to sound like a big deal, but the conversations that I have are private and they will always remain private. I've talked to billionaires. I've talked to millionaires. I've talked to janitors. Okay. I talk to everybody, and a lot of people confide in me, and that's where it starts and ends. I don't tell my friends. I don't tell my wife. My best friend, my brother, would tell me things about his life. They were just here. And my brother was telling my wife some things, and he was like, well, and Jennifer was like, I have no idea. And he looked at me, he's like, dude, you didn't tell her? And I'm like, no, it's not for me to tell. That's how I was raised. That's how I was brought up. That's a code that I live by. So I appreciate people being like, yo, where'd you get this from? You will never, ever, ever get me to tell, because that's just how I am. And I don't deal in dirt. So my things are opinions. I think that there was a lot of mistakes made. I think that the person who's making the mistakes deep down is a good human being. But I also think a lot of people are out for the blood of people they don't even know. And I will always mess with you on Twitter. I will send you stupid gifts so that you just stay away, because I'm never going to reveal where I got it from. There's people being like, where'd you get this TNA WWE stuff? Like it's a settlement. You don't think that I spoke to some people? You think that I'm just willy-nilly throwing it out there? That's not how I operate. And I also stated it as my opinion, because it's my opinion. Okay. I will never reveal anything ever, because those conversations are private. They should never be brought to light. You should always want to be welcomed at everybody's table. Nobody should want to sit back and be like, I can't trust this guy. Go ask some people in the industry. If they say they can't trust me, we've never spoke.
And I want to clarify, you were saying with sources, like when you know things and someone's like, oh, reveal. That's right. Of course. He has Dynamo Kings and Queens. And pork and beans. Yeah, there it is. Shout out Matt Presto. But I want to clarify, when you say sources, it's like people asking you to like, tell me where you got this because I don't believe you. And then there's the other half. We saw this with Sean Ross Sapp the other day, going off with someone, of just like wanting to find out, like crediting your source if you're reporting news. That's a totally different thing of, if you're reporting news, and I think you're muted, Drew. You want to report news, you should have that source if it's a credited thing. But if you're just reporting it, or if you're coming up with an opinion and they go, and if your opinion is based on something that maybe someone told you in confidence, but if someone's going to ask you for that source, of course you're not going to say it. And I mean, with the boat with you, I've been around pro wrestling, I would say probably 10, 11 years now. And I really enjoy that I can be trusted and confided in. And because it doesn't benefit me to tell people this stuff.
No.
Like,
and
again, that's how I was raised as well. And I had classes in journalism where again, cite your sources, but keep your sources close to the vest, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's always been, I have seen and heard so many things after a show, at the bar, at the hotel, and those things stay with me. That they don't go anywhere else. I could tell stories all day, all night. I'm not going to, and I never will. Those stories start and stop with me. I'm privileged to have those people and to call some of them friends, and that's it. When you betray that trust, you're done. You're done. Dave Hero taught me a long time ago, and Dave's one of my best friends. Dave said, make sure when people come to hang, if you go somewhere and, you're in the business, the wrestling business or whatever, if talent gets up and leaves, it's because they don't trust you. And I grew up in New York. My family's Italian. I know exactly when somebody's not trusted and when they're trusted. I know how that goes, and you don't want it. You should, whether you're a man or a woman, people will be like, you got to act like a man. No, you just got to be a good human. And don't. At
the end of the day, it should just be your fiber as a human. Again, I said it last week with the streamer situation. It costs $0 to be a good and decent human being.
Yeah. And listen,
to be respectful and stuff.
Yeah, I had someone call me and they were just like, and I told them exactly how I felt about certain things, and I said, exactly what I said to this person. I would say to his face, and I said it to other people. And there was nothing I hid. And that's the thing. Like, you could either be a man of your word or you could be a piece of shit. And at the end of the day, like, if you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit. And these people who come at me all the time, I'm telling you right now, I don't care. I only say that because you're wasting your time. Like, none of this stuff, none of it gets to me, because at the end of the day, my family's healthy.
Yeah,
my
like,
wife's good.
it's
My
not,
kid's good.
this
This
stuff is
place
not as deep
isn't
and,
real.
No.
It's not real. I like to have fun on here. Y'all take this way too seriously. Like people are trying to do this and do that, and they comment on everything. Like, if you guys were so good at all your stuff, you'd be somewhere else than on Twitter all day. I use it as a promotional material, and I also look at things because I need to see what's trending in the industry, and I'll mess with people. I mean, come on.
Not everybody. Sorry, Drew. Unfortunately, we are not perpetually online all the time, to where we have to respond to everybody and talk, and it never ends.
I have 6 screens. I have 3 main ones, and then I have 3 small ones. And I could be on X all day if I wanted to, by like looking at it from over here while I have my work email up here and I have my point of sale up here, and I have everything. So I could do a lot at once. I'm a good multitasker, but I'm not going to sit there and argue with you all day. It's not that deep. I'll send you stupid gifts and I'll move on. Whatever the hell you call them, and I'll move on. I'm not on Discord. I'm not on Instagram. Or I am on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not that guy. I'm not.
And you're better off, by the way, Drew, not having a Discord, not being on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, get your main platforms that you need. And again, you control what you can control.
Yeah. I think it's a very,
and I think a lot of people hate that you can control what you can control because they can't control themselves.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about taking my profile, and making it private so that only people who follow me can write and stuff like that. But who cares? It's just whatever, I have kids. I got to teach them how to be. Yeah. And my son and my sons and my daughter will probably be bullied, not only in person, but online. And it's my job to show them how to navigate that. So you can bring your hate, but I can promise you none of it gets to me. There is not a single thing that you could say to me. You want cite your sources. You're not credible. Blah, 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 blah. Brother, go fucking whistle in the wind, because I don't give a shit. I don't. And I never will. I sleep on my back every night. I don't care.
Couldn't say it better myself, Drew.
Yeah. Just be real. It's not hard. Just be a good human being.
It's difficult for some people, man. They thrive on chaos and stirring up bullshit. And how dare you say this? Because you said something negative or positive about something I feel a certain way about. Therefore, you're wrong. I'm right. And I'm going to tell you why. And it's like, dude, it's not that serious. Go hang out. Don't touch grass, as the kids say.
Oh, yeah. And it's, it's mind boggling to me, the lengths some of these people go. If you're over 50 and you're consistently on social media and you're not contributing in any way, shape, or form,
hang it up, brother.
Yeah, just be done. I'll tell you what, there's an account that absolutely hates AEW, right? But the videos, the dude's talented. There's no doubt about it. He's talented in what he does. I just wish his energy was put elsewhere, but he's very talented. Whether or not I agree with what he's saying, no, but he's talented in that retrospect. Sure.
And again, you can be talented and have opinions on things and still be a good human being. It's those that choose violence. They choose to not do that. Yeah. And it ostracizes them from a community. It lessens trust from those in a community or around, it's ridiculous. And that, like Vincent just said there, the spaces, you communicate with people. I love going and hopping in spaces with you and hearing what other people have to say. And it's a very nice, open forum.
It's important for me to let the people who don't want to be on camera or all that other stuff to kind of come
tough,
in.
Drew. It's tough to put yourself out there.
Yeah. And I think it's
rough, but
I think it's important to have that, there are people who speak in the space and they're very long-winded, or they take very long, or they have stuttering issues or whatever, and they take long to get points across. But you want to know what, dude? That's their time to talk to somebody that maybe they don't get to talk to on a daily or consistent basis. Like, be that bridge, be that person. You know, like I said, I could be a sarcastic prick if I want to be. If you want to pull that out of me, I can. But I'm never going to make things personal. I don't care. And I will always welcome a conversation. I pop into random spaces randomly, and people are like, oh shit, Andrew's here. Like, do you want to speak? And I'll be like, no, I just want to listen. And then sometimes they'll be like, okay, I'll talk. But I mean, to me, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy that people want me to talk, and I'll talk, but I just like listening to you guys and girls. It's fun to listen to the fans. It's fun to listen.
I've said that it's supposed to be a community, not like competition and chaos. And like I like you mentioned, I'm the same way. I like talking to anybody. I pride myself on being able to go into a scenario and I can talk to this person or that person, no matter where they sit. Like, if it's on this side or on this side, and it doesn't mean that I'm a fence sitter either. Like, I go situationally, and I can talk about any point and give my opinion on things and hear other people out and banter and go back and forth without being disrespectful. And I feel like you have the same traits, which is, again, that's why we get along, and our mutual friends, like people we know, I feel like are all in that same kind of boat of it's not that hard.
We don't have to agree on everything, but I'm damn sure not going to make you feel stupid or bash you. Or I'm not going to, if you're not on like this, the same wavelength, I'm not going to make you feel lesser. It doesn't benefit anybody. It certainly doesn't benefit you for putting anybody down, and it doesn't give them any confidence to go into a space and say something or turn on the camera. Because is this a community or is this just like, a hate group? Like, I just don't get it. I'll never get it. You hate Sean because he's successful. You hate, Tony because he's got a lot of money.
And you don't, right? Like, it's jealousy.
You hate Triple H because it's not Vince. You hate Triple H because he married into the family. Just stop. Go do something. Who cares? You know what I'm
They hate you because you're bald. They hate me because I wear the same hat.
I'm gonna eat some food, probably some salad and some chicken and some rice. My wife's still awake. I'll see what she's got going on, and then that's about it. That's it. I mean, I'm like, what do you got? This isn't that deep. Like, wrestling's fun. I would have loved to have had 8,000 people who wanted to hear me talk about wrestling 20 years ago when I was watching shit in college or in a basement or whatever, dude. Like, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
It is crazy. You know what else is crazy, Drew? This NFL championship weekend.
Get your questions in. They're coming up right now.
We talked about it last week. You were kind of bullish on the Lions, and I said, I'm going to pick the Lions, but I'm not shocked if Jaden Daniels walks in there, and damn it, they put up 45 on him.
Right. So I was shocked on that one.
Here's my thing. Are we going to disrespect Corey this week? Are we going to go against the grain and say Washington's going to walk into Philly and take out the Eagles? I say yes. Sorry, Corey.
Oh, that's fine. So I wanted to, that bet that I put up where a lot of, I had some people being like,
I'll tell you my bet that almost cashed after you tell.
Well, this cashed, but for me, it was, when I showed it to everybody on Friday night when we did our show, and I was like, I can't believe that DraftKings is allowing, this bet to take place. And I was shocked because I was just like, hey, this is, to me, this is a hit, like this just seemed, too good to be true. Right. And it was. And I want to show you guys what the plus minus was. And this did hit. So here it is. It was I'm going to wait till my phone gets it. It's Texans plus 17, Commanders plus 20.5, the Rams plus 17.5, and the Bills plus 10.5, all on one single ticket. And that was, I don't know what's going on here. That was plus 109. I don't know how far I got it. Maybe I got to get it closer. Whatever. Plus 109. That's plus money, guys and girls. That's crazy. That's over 10 points for every team in an NFL playoff game. It's nuts. That cashed. I will say that I was shocked at the Commanders' routing of an absolute romp of the Lions, in my opinion. And I know it got closer towards the end of the game, but that game was over. I'm going to say that the Eagles win. I think the Eagles handle the Commanders. I think, it's a well-coached, experienced team in Philly. I think Saquon's on a mission.
Yes, he is.
I think we get Philly and Buffalo in New Orleans.
I'll go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So my bet that didn't cash, but it was very close. And it was a small wager, but I could have hit something big. I put $15 down on every team in the divisional round to score a rushing touchdown. And
right,
everyone,
hold on.
Okay.
The Eagles did it.
Well, go day by day. Go in order because that's more important.
The Chiefs did it.
Yep, Kareem Hunt. The only score for the Texans was Joe Mixon.
And
then the night game was Commanders and Lions, and they had like 2 apiece.
Yeah, I mean, Jameson Williams had one himself.
Yep.
And, the Eagles had one, and then I'm going to guess
the Rams did not. But the Bills the Ravens had one.
Kyron got to like the 1 a couple times because I bet on him to score too. Yeah. All right.
It was 7 out of 8. But if it would have hit, it would have been $15 turned into $7.35.
That's a good bet, Juice.
I know. And I was, after night 1, I was like, okay, I got a chance. And then I was like, man, it's going to snow in Philly. They're going to run the ball. And then Jalen Hurts hit a run immediately. And I'm like, okay, just the Rams, because I knew Henry and Allen would probably score in the following game. And it never happened. So you win some, you lose some.
You do. Catherine Reed says, question, Andrew, my son is a sports marketing major. Do you have any advice for him on finding an internship? Apply, and make connections. I worked for free in college for 2 years. So I was playing baseball and I stopped and I got an internship at the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island, New York. And I worked for free in the summer. And then I would literally drive back during some of my, college days, September, October, because there were some concerts there before the arena went full hockey. And I really wasn't needed at that point, but there were some dark days, which means the arena is not in use. And I would work and I would drive back from Providence to Long Island, New York. And my friends were like, what are you, nuts? And for me, it was making the contacts and getting your foot in the door. So to your son, make as many contacts as you possibly can, get your foot in the door and give the best, effort you possibly can. Your first impression is a lasting one. And it'll carry you throughout your whole business career. So make sure that, wherever he gets in on an internship, he really, really goes above and beyond, because that's kind of like, it's your tryout for life, in my opinion.
And I know the question was for you, but I did journalism, but I didn't, know sports marketing, but I can agree with you on the networking, especially with internships. Like, anybody that's willing to talk to you and that's available to be talked to, whether you have to initiate or not, you should initiate. You should try to make contacts with any and everybody. And I would say, and I heard this earlier today on local sports talk radio, availability is like number one. If you're available to, like, they were talking in broadcast terms of like, hey, we need someone to like cover these games tonight. But if you can say, can I cover these games? I can shoot photos for these games. I can produce something for these games. Even if you don't know how, you can do it later and then be like, hey, I'll do better next time. You want to show you are available for everything. Reliability goes a very long way. And with internships too, like, even if you're unpaid, it matters. Like, the goal is if it works out for you, you will get paid. So that's just how it works. You got to just keep grinding, and hopefully you find out what you're looking for. And I'm going to take the Chiefs or the Bills. Oh man, it's so annoying because I can't bet against Kansas City with Mahomes. Like, I can't. I don't want them to win, but it is very difficult to bet against a guy that doesn't lose. They don't lose. So
I did not bet
the Chiefs.
Yeah, I didn't bet against Mahomes in the divisional round, but I think it's Josh Allen's time. I mean, listen, I'm with you. You don't really
win. Yeah,
you don't want to bet against the Chiefs, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But I'm here for good football. Commanders if it's Eagles Chiefs again, we've seen that song and dance, but they didn't have Saquon, so that kind of changes things. But hey, give me Buffalo and Washington. That would be exciting. It'd be a rematch of Super Bowl 26, and it'd be fun. Two teams that are desperate to win one after so long. I think it'd be hype.
Yep. Vincent Marshall says, do you think Triple H and WWE will start tracking dates for talent when their contract ends, despite AEW, because Tony Khan doesn't want talent going to WWE?
think he's kind of referring to like Tony Khan. It seemed recently, like with Ray Phoenix, for an example, or some other talent maybe we're not aware of. Instead of like, hey, we're just going to be done with your contract and we'll pay you out, and you can, even if it's a no compete clause. It seems like they're just not utilizing people, paying them, and then when we find out is likely when they find out, oh, I can go to WWE or I can go somewhere else. So like WWE's maybe this guy's asking, are they going to track that to not allow that to happen and be like, okay, maybe I know when this person's available instead of planning ahead. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Maybe we talked about how it was supposed to be, or I don't know, but it was supposed to be Penta and Ray. People asked if it was supposed to be them instead of the Machine Guns coming in.
I don't think so. But I'll say this. I think AEW legal, and I would think Tony is very proactive in terms of like reaching out to talent that's contracts expiring probably 4 to 5 months in advance, maybe even 6. And once we start getting down to like that 2 to 3 month period where we don't have an answer, AEW doesn't have an answer, Tony doesn't have an answer from the talent. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. I think Tony's going to take them off television because he doesn't know what's happening or if they're going to come back. I would, we've had this discussion. I'd put this talent out on television and have them put over somebody on their way out and build stars because you're paying them. I don't agree with freezing the talent, but I maybe that's just the way Tony wants to handle it because it's out of sight, out of mind. And I think AEW and Tony Khan is very proactive in terms of trying to make sure that the talent that is contracts are expiring, gets handled before, say a month before the contract is expired.
I was going to say, do you think that's going to change going forward with knowledge of how things have been going recently? Like when someone comes in or someone's contract needs to be re-upped, do you think that's going to be kind of discussed of like, hey, at the end of this, or maybe earlier, we'll talk about it instead of, oh, it's coming up. Oh, we don't really want to deal with you anymore, but we're also not going to feature you. You'll get paid. And when we tell you you can be out, you can leave. You think that'll be kind of fine?
So for me, if I was, and I deal with contracts every day in my business and I review them and I read lawsuits and everything else like that. So for me, I would have 120 days into the contract. I would say, hey, when upon expiration date, let's just say it's September of 2025, we will open negotiations for your new contract 120 days before the expiration date. This way, that gives them almost 4 months, exactly 4 months, to figure out whether or not this contract or talent is going to stay. Maybe it could even be 6. Maybe they want to do 6 months before the expiration date. That way, we could open the conversation, and if the vibes I get are that you're not staying or you're not whatever, all right, then, let's do something else. But let's not wait until, we'll get to it. No. We're talking about it now. We're talking about it now. And if you want to become a free agent, okay, realize that, that's the exclusivity negotiating window. And it could be, there could be 90 days. I don't know. But what I'm saying is I would make sure that we have that exclusivity window.
Yeah, not everybody's going to be like MJF and outwardly put it in his promos. MJF 2024, who wants me?
I don't, if the producer wants to put one up, I can't see what's on the screen. Okay, here we go. What are both of your thoughts on New Orleans for WrestleMania 42? Are there any other places that come in to make a play for WrestleMania? I don't think so at this point. I know London was very discussed and
Go get one.
Yeah. I think it's probably towards like 2029-ish, but I don't know.
Do you think it'll be around, you think it'll be 45? Like it'll be that, I know it's not a round number, but it's like, it's a 5, it's halfway between the big ones. I don't know. Because that gives you 42, and let's just say New Orleans, and then 43 you could say Nashville, 44 could be the Saudi one, like then boom, 45 is like, I think you could play it out to where you get that. I don't know. Do you think it's on purpose that they, I think we talked about earlier with them, with the Super Bowl thing, like, do you think they're going to start capitalizing on stuff like that? Like, let's make sure we get into Radio Row and have an event. Again, if it turns out this year that New Orleans is WrestleMania for the following year, and they do that event, it'll become, that's 2 years in a row, and it will become a pattern, and people will absolutely be looking for that in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they should always continue to have a presence at Media Row, and I think they will, whether or not it coincides with, the Super Bowl every year. I don't know. Could the Super Bowl host city be the city that WrestleMania goes to? Probably not.
Yeah, probably not, but
probably not every year. I don't think so. I just think right now it's
working out well because the Super Bowl is not going to be in Saudi Arabia, you know, and then WrestleMania is going to happen to be there. Like it's at some point it's not going to line up the exact way.
So it is of my opinion, that I think that this was the perfect event for the WWE to try a 2-night Royal Rumble and see how it is received, because Saudi Arabia is paid for. The fans will show up for 2 nights in Saudi. In terms of like the locals and stuff like that.
Wait, I don't know that.
I don't remember, to be honest with you, but I'm just saying I don't think a 2-night Rumble is what a lot of people want. So why not test it in Saudi?
I definitely think we brought it up on the first episode because that was when it got announced that like they're going to get it. And we talked, SummerSlam makes sense because more often than not, it's too many matches to cover one night. But the Rumble, you're only doing it because you want to have a Rumble on each night, when you can bookend the show and have 2 matches in between and it'd be great for one night. I think, but to test it in Saudi is like a, no lose situation. And then you don't do it again, whatever. Or maybe it's great. I don't know.
All right. The Chop Sports and Gaming says, would you guys let go of Britt Baker at this point? AEW chose to be done with her first, and she's obviously not happy. So many issues. I don't know the situation with Britt, and I'm not going to speak out of turn, but it just seems like there was, from everything that was reported, there's been a lot of issues. There's been different things. Some people are painting it that Britt was made out to be the scapegoat for things, no pun intended. But I'm going to sit back and just say, like, when the common denominator is consistently you involved in it, you got to start looking within. And I just think maybe enough's enough. I don't know. I really don't know. Britt's always been decent to me, but I don't know what the situation is.
Yeah, every interaction with Britt has been wonderful. I mean, she was on Chair Shot and hanging out with us, and I don't know. To me, she's always been really nice. And yeah, I've heard the same thing you have. Like you never know what is really going on behind the scenes. But it does take 2 to tango. Like if someone's upset, it's not just out of nowhere to me. So maybe the best move is to, eventually part ways. And it's not like any other company wouldn't be wanting to scoop her up. She's a wonderful talent. She's one of the pillars of AEW. She was a part of the launch from when AEW began the whole thing. And, Pittsburgh was like the 3rd show of Dynamite's history. So like they built a lot around her. So there's a lot of equity there. But if it's time to move on, it's time to move on. And, it would be, if it benefits AEW and if it benefits Britt to not be working together, then maybe that decision needs to be made. But I'm not there. I can't make that call.
Yeah. And again, I think that if Britt is, is starting to piss people off or whatever, rub people the wrong way or whatever the case may be, then, I don't know. And I hope things get that figured out. But at the end of the day, like the last thing you want is, somebody upsetting the locker room consistently and stuff like that. I don't know that to be true. I'm just saying if that's what is happening, then I understand why some people want to just, shut the door on it for right now.
True. And I agree with that. I want to a little bit play devil's advocate. How many other instances of people having issues with the locker room there? Is it more of a personnel issue or is it an environment issue?
Yeah, I think there needs to be like,
we don't know. We're not in the locker room.
I've said this a million times. Like I think that, I think you have to sit back and look at some things and just be like, all right, can you guys act like adults and can we go make money, or do we got to keep acting like petty little children? I've said this a million times. I said it to some of the performers, one performer's face. I said it was childish what happened between Punk, the Bucks, Kenny, and Hangman. Like they needed to make money together. And I don't know exactly who's at fault. I would have told them to figure it out. We are trying to make money as a company, not only for AEW, but for all of you. So let's stop acting like children. Let's get this done. And it seemed like some people wanted to do business. Yeah, they left a lot of money on the table with that.
So. Absolutely, and I thought it was right there. Like wrestling has always had that throughout its history, but people generally at some point realize money is more important in a business sense than to have petty differences when it's a work. Come on. Yep. You know, it's for entertainment's sake. Do you think actors like every actor they work with? No. Do you think a lot of them are maybe difficult to work with? Sure. But at the end of the day, they know if we make this film and it becomes a success, you're benefiting, I'm benefiting, we all benefit, and then we'll have another opportunity later, and likely we won't have to work again. Like, you know, work together, man.
Yeah.
Collaboration's not competition again.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's make money, right? Like, I think that's the mentality. I also, I think that a lot of people get used in this industry, but I think for me, it's like, if the talents, their issues with each other, like, okay, let's use this. Can we use this? Can you guys like get your asses together and go make money? Because who gets mad at commas in their bank account? I don't.
Not me. Anytime I've seen them.
Yeah, let's make some money, right? Let's stop with the exclamation points and let's put some commas in these bank accounts. All right.
Yeah.
Go do your fucking job. Thanks. That's what I would do. I'd sit them all down, and none of them know me from a hole in the wall, But if that's what my job was, and I would say, boys, look, listen, I respect all of you, but it's time to go make money, and let's go make money so this place is profitable, so that we continue to make money. Let's cut the shit, and let's be men and adults, and let's go do our jobs. You don't like each other? Good. 90% of the world doesn't like each other. Get your shit together. Let's go make money.
Yeah, exactly. So I couldn't have said it better myself, Drew. Do we have any other questions here before we wrap this thing up?
No, I don't think so. Shout out to Scott Steiner. I see Big Papa Publisher Hookup. He's in here again. Holler if you hear me.
Holler if you hear me.
No, guys, listen. Girls, listen. I'm at Andrew Badal. It's right there. Juice is right there. He's at Juicy Steen. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow to Final Bell Media, which Drew and Juice is exclusively on. We're going to do this every Wednesday. Is that the Dead Poet Society?
No, it's the Dead Poet bar in New York.
Oh, okay. Never been there.
You should go. It's wonderful.
I should. All right. Do they read poetry?
No, but all the drinks are based on poets, and you can get this specific glass if you get the drink that has like 7 different like liquors in it, but it tastes like grape juice. No, it tastes wonderful. You have no idea, but you get to take the glass home if you brave it. So I got to go. I went initially back in 2015 with JD and then in LeBar. And then most recently I went for Seinfeld night in Coney Island, and we went to the Dead Poet. It was nice to go back there, and I had the drink, so I got the glass.
Nice. Well, I'll have to check that out. I don't think I want anything that has 7 different kinds of alcohol in it. I'm more of a tequila, beer, and wine type of guy, but hey.
You wouldn't know it.
Yeah, well, and then you wake up with it, and you're like, what the hell?
Come on.
Yeah, right. Listen, this is fun. This stuff's fun. I enjoy coming on here, talking with friends. I enjoy answering your questions. I enjoy analyzing this wacky world of professional wrestling. I'm an opinionist. I'm not a journalist. I am not, a dirt sheet dude. I don't deal in dirt. I just come on here and have fun. I talk to people and draw my own conclusions, and I keep my ear to the ground, and that's it. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow Final Bell Media. Drop a comment, drop a like on the YouTube. That's where these shows will exclusively be. This is episode 3. I'm looking forward to episode 300 with Juice every Thursday, unless, our schedule has changed, but it's been fun. I'm going to do the Rumble in Dallas, I believe. Shout out to Blake. He knows why. So shout out to him and his family. And I'm just, again, looking forward to the Rumble. Somebody asked, I could see it here, who are your winners for the Royal Rumble? I'm going to go with
great for talk radio.
I'm going to go with John Cena. I think John's going to end up winning the chamber, but I'll go with John Cena just because I don't have another one right now.
He should win both.
Yeah,
Rumble
right.
And then the chamber. Fuck it.
I'll go with John Cena, and I will go with Charlotte Flair.
I'm going to go with Charlotte Flair, and I'm going to take CM Punk to throw John Cena out to win the Royal Rumble.
I think Punk is a really good pick.
Punk Cena final 2, man. That's like a legendary shit. Cena's final Rumble. Come on.
Yeah. I think the Punk call is a good one. We just got to get the title on Seth, because Seth and Punk are having a match at Mania.
Hey, if you say what you think is going to happen, if Jey Uso wins the title, I think anybody could get the title by the time WrestleMania rolls around.
316. I see the question. He says, "What is your hot take that WWE hasn't posted any more Dom and Liv videos from the past Monday? They posted the video and has me." I listen. I think that the views on YouTube are instrumental, and I also think that they have a lot of weight. So you might be onto something, but I do think that WWE knows what they have with Dom and Rhea. I think they know to capitalize on it. And I also, a lot of people were like, "Now, why are we doing Mox and Cope?" Well, Mox and Cope's segment from a couple weeks ago has over 1 million views on YouTube for AEW. So pay attention.
Go where the money is, go where the views are, and pivot if you need to.
Yeah. So I just, I think that Liv and Dom will have a major role at WrestleMania. Yet to be seen, but we'll figure that one out.
Maybe we'll get that Dom versus Rhea match that could only, I think, happen at WrestleMania. If they were going to pull that trigger, they would be a one-on-one. It would be at WrestleMania.
I could see it. All right, Juice, tell everyone where they could like, subscribe, and follow you.
Yeah, follow me on X, formerly Twitter, but I still call it Twitter, at Juicy Steen. Talk to me about Seinfeld, wrestling, WCW, football, anything and everything. And listen to the Juice Box anywhere you listen to podcasts every Friday, early mornings, but I post the link out around noon-ish on Fridays. So Saturday night's main event predictions this week with myself and friend of the show, Josh Eisenberg. So good little 40-minute chat we had. And looking forward to Saturday night's main event this weekend, and good football, good time of year. My birthday's next week, Drew. Everything's happening.
You know what? It is a good weekend when you have Saturday night's main event, and then you bleed that right into the conference championships. And then right after, that, a couple days later, the Royal Rumble.
That's right.
It's a good time to be a wrestling fan. Good time to be alive. Thank you very much for joining us on Drew and Juice this Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. We'll catch everybody down the road. I want to thank everybody who jumped in here. There was over 300 people watching on YouTube, so thank you very much. Over 300 people watching on X as well. I wish you all a very good night. Juice, I'll talk to you tomorrow, buddy.
That was Drew and Juice, a special collaboration between Final Bell Media and the Juice Box. Make sure to listen to Drew and Juice wherever you listen to podcasts.